What's going on, y'all? Using a different camera today. Unfortunately, clumsy me. I broke my other camera a little bit. So for right now, temporarily, using a different camera. May like it. May not go back to the other. May not give me another camera. May like this angle. But enough of that. As you can see, this is a Smackdown review. So, this Smackdown wasn't really that eventful. I mean, I want to say that. It was eventful, but it was like a normal Smackdown, if you catch what I mean. It was a normal Smackdown, but it did have one character development for a character, or I should say, a character who went back to being, it's going back to being this whole gimmick. But I'll get to that. They didn't even start the show off with a promo. They actually started off with a match, which was Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa versus Ricochet and Moss. And it was a good, wasn't the best way, but it was also a good match. We ain't gonna say it was a bad match. It was a good match to start it off. And I actually like what they're doing with the bloodline with Sami. I'm thoroughly convinced this is going to be how Sami turned face. Because eventually, it's only one or two ways. And you let me know in the comments down below what you think about it. But there's one or two ways this could go. Either this is going to lead to Sami turning face, or it's going to lead to Sami turning face and the downfall of the bloodline. It's either going to be the bloodline betrays Sami, or Sami is like the reason why the bloodline basically gets disintegrated because the whole him and Jay button head thing, and then pretty sure that's going to be that's going to be what it is. But who knows? The story here was though that the Usos had the day off because of what happened last week, but it's becoming apparent. It became apparent as they mentioned it throughout the night that because of the hurricane or what's going on with the hurricane in Florida and stuff, some of the wrestlers got stuck in Florida. So first and foremost, I want to say thoughts and prayers go out to those affected by the hurricane in Florida. If you guys could, as I am, I pray for the people in Florida who are affected by the hurricane, and those families are affected by the hurricane, and you should too. But yeah, it seems like some of the wrestlers are stuck in Florida. So this is why I'm giving forgiveness points to SmackDown. For one, they had some Raw superstars on there having matches, so I understood. I'm gonna get to why I say that. But yeah, then right after, so Sami and Solo won that match, and then right after, there was a backstage promo with Sami and Solo going to the basically the Bloodline's locker room, only to be greeted by Jay. I'm figuring probably Roman. Either they probably did get up, or Roman and Jimmy was stuck in Florida or whatever. But yeah, they was able to. Jay was there. He basically greeted Solo. He said, they were surprised, and Sami asked him why he was here, and he just said, I'm here to check on my little brother. And he let Solo go in, and then he confronted Sami, telling Sami he see right through him, and that if he do anything to jeopardize the bloodline, and his family, he's gonna get him. And Sami just had like a beautiful retort. He just go like this with the honorary Uso shirt and just said, "Take it up with Roman." And then right after that, we got a Karrion Kross promo talking about resetting the timelines and his strap match at Extreme Rules with Drew McIntyre, and that he's gonna basically beat Drew McIntyre with an inch of his life and leave him there. And then once he's done with Drew, he said he's going on to try to challenge Roman for the unified undisputed World Universal Championship. I forgot what they call it, but. And then we get a second match, which is Austin Theory versus Drew McIntyre. This came about because Austin Theory had a backstage segment where he was talking about Drew McIntyre and what happened at Cardiff, and he was running his mouth, not knowing in that interview that Drew McIntyre had walked up on him, and he basically, and when he realized it, Drew just was like, You, me in the match right now. And that's how this match became about. Though I can't say this was a good match because the match only went for a couple of seconds. That this is going to lead to why this basically lead into what I was talking about, the Raw superstars. The match only lasted a couple of seconds because Austin Theory came out with the Alpha Academy, the one half of the Raw superstars I was talking about, and basically in like maybe like I want to say 5 to maybe 10 minutes after the match started, they got involved and caused a DQ, which meant Drew McIntyre won by DQ. But Johnny Gargano and Kevin Owens would come out and help. I think they might have been in Canada too. They might have been in Canada because I think that was another reason why Kevin Owens was there, probably. But yeah, they was able to. Johnny Gargano and Kevin Owens came out to help Drew McIntyre to fight off Austin Theory and the Alpha Academy, which we will find out later on tonight that the main event was going to be Austin Theory and the Alpha Academy versus Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, and Johnny Gargano. So then we move on to the third match. The third match of the night, which was Los Lotharios versus Hit Row. Pretty standard, good tag team match. Hit Row getting the victory. None to be said. I love the little story they told with Top Dollar. Basically, he was like the big muscle man. But like I said, pretty standard tag team match, and Hit Row got the victory. Good match. Move on. We got the Ronda Rousey versus Natalya next, and which was, it was one of those matches where Natalya was just there to help the story along. She wasn't really, I hate when they do that to wrestlers because it lowers. I feel like it lowers that wrestler's stock when they do that, but that's what they was there for. It was Ronda Rousey versus Nat. She had a backstage promo talking about what happened last week with Liv Morgan and Lacey Evans, and she basically downplayed what she did was wasn't really extreme, and that she said she's extreme, and that she's basically dead. She is a weapon, and she's deadly without a weapon. What would you think if I had a baseball bat? What would you think I could do with that if you gave me a weapon in a legalized match? And then she had her match with Natalya. It was a good match with Ronda Rousey taking the victory. But the main thing here was that after Ronda Rousey's victory, Liv Morgan would come out to confront Ronda Rousey with said bat. And basically they would get into a scuffle and a brawl trying to fight over the bat. With the bat being used on Ronda. I think Liv used the bat on Ronda, but she hit her in the gut with it. Other than that, they kept fighting over and scuffling over the bat, to which Ronda would eventually throw into the barricade and then throw into the timekeeper's area. And then she had control of the bat, getting ready to go swinging for the fences on Liv Morgan. But the officials got her to drop the bat and basically were trying to get her to go back to the bat, which she did. But this was more of your standard typical, two people brawling segment where the brawl doesn't end when they try to split them up. Because then Liv Morgan would finally climb herself out of the timekeeper's area and go just through the crowd of officials, or not, I should say a crowd, through the officials, and basically grab Ronda that kept fighting until they had to finally be pulled apart. We got a promo from Imperium, basically talking about how they're going to destroy, because it was revealed that Imperium basically was going to have a 6-man tag Donnie Brooke match which is basically, I guess, is just a basic good old street fight. Anything goes street fight at Extreme Rules. But the Friday before that, which is next Friday, because next Friday is the season premiere for Smackdown, Gunther is going to be basically facing Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship. So that's basically what Gunther was talking about. He said they're going to crush him at Extreme Rules, but before that, he's going to crush Sheamus and retain his Intercontinental Championship. But Sheamus would come out and basically by himself, revealing that the reason why he's by himself because Butch and Ridge Holland was stuck in Florida. So that you get where I'm going with this. Why I said I forgave it for being like a feel like a slow, not enough SmackDown wrestlers because hey, they was some most of them because we didn't even see New Day, so maybe they was stuck somewhere, you know. They were stuck in Florida. I mean, not somewhere. But yeah, basically Sheamus came out to confront Imperium, telling him that even though he's by himself, he has no problem coming in and beating all of them up anyway. To which he put out a lady. He would beat up Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni with the lady, and then confront Shane. Excuse me, Gunther, and they would get into a brawl. You know, he would get into a ring, but he would throw the lady out the ring, and then he would confront Gunther, and they would fight with each other. But Ludwig and Giovanni got involved, and they basically double teamed him and beat him up. But as they was walking off, Sheamus would grab the mic and basically goad them into coming back, taunting them, telling them that what they did to him was nothing. That's if you know is that all you got? And they was like, he's serious. So Gunther just sent Ludwig and Giovanni back in there to beat him up again, and then he joined in and they just powerbombed him to leave him laying there in the ring. No, they actually you know what, he powerbombed him the first time. And then that second time after he goaded him to coming back, they hit him over the face with the shillelagh. Though Sheamus almost no sold that if you think about it, because he pretty much like he started moving again like he didn't get hit with the shillelagh and was looking at Gunther as they was walking away. We got a match between Bayley and Shotzi Blackheart, and which was a good match actually because they gave Shotzi a lot of offensive that I think she was, and she has the tank back. Which is good because that's what made her over. That's what got her over with the fans, with her and her tank. And it's been rumored for a while, for I think the last week or so. I would say either the last week or the last 2 weeks that she was getting the tank back. So she's officially babyface and she got her tank back. Good match with Bayley, but Bayley was hit the rose plant. The rose plant and pin her, but Bayley didn't want to stop there with her victory. She tried to get the ladder to send a message to Bianca, and she was about to do some damage to Sanshi with the ladder, but Bianca would show up, another Raw superstar, and chase Bayley off. Well, they would get into a fight, and Bayley almost got KOD on the ladder, in reminiscent to when Bianca did that to her and they Hell in a Cell match. Now comes to where I was talking about with the promo. Not the promo, but with the character returning back to an old gimmick. Throughout the night, Maximum Male Models had this thing where they were telling Max Dupree that they was Monse and Mansoor, or Monse and I forgot what they called him, but they was going to go for a title, and he was happy. He was like, "Oh, so you got a title match against the Usos?" He's like, "No, we trying to break the record and counting up for the longest pose." So throughout the night, and different segments and different promos, people just kept walking past him and just laughing as they were trying to get the pose. Even Kevin Owens had, they did it with Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre in their promo. But to make a long story short, at this junction of the promo, as they was getting ready to break the record, Max would come back out of nowhere and hit Mansoor, or whatever his Mansoor, and he would mess it up for them, and basically explained that he was done with Maximum Male Models, and that this was pretty much never for him, which, as rumors suggest, he would, been saying, this might be him going back to being LA Knight. And he actually looked close. The way he dressed and stuff, he was looking more like LA Knight, except he had the Maximum Male Models belt buckle on. He took that off and just threw it at them and said this wasn't for him. But I think he's going back to being LA Knight. Then we get to the main event, which is Austin Theory and And Alpha Academy versus Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, and Johnny Gargano, which was a good match in itself. This was a good way to end, because this was actually good. I ain't gonna lie, this was good. A good way to end it, end the show. A little bit rushed at the end because it was running out of airtime, but it was good. It had some great spots. They actually made Austin Theory and the Alpha Academy look good here, but in a crazy sequence where they was going to put Owens through the table. Kevin Owens ended up getting beat up by Chad Gable, only to get Stunner on the table, to which they took out Owens, and then Austin Theory would get Claymore by Drew McIntyre, and then 1, 2, 3, they're your winners. But just like Bayley tried to do earlier in the night, Drew McIntyre would get the strap and hit him one time. Due to, like I said, they were running out of airtime. I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be more than one time, but he hit him one time with the strap, and then sent the message to Karrion Kross, and that's how they ended the show. Like I said, I'm giving them forgiveness points here because obviously the hurricane in Florida trapped some superstars in Florida. So this felt like a slow but good paceful SmackDown. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10 big ups. If this was a normal SmackDown, I would have probably given this SmackDown. I probably would have given it like a 5 or 6, but it gets a 7 for forgiving the points because I understand. And you let me know in the comments down below what you thought. And if you enjoyed this video, you hit this button right there in the upper right corner for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed this video so much you want to support the channel, you know what to do, guys. Hit those buttons. And as always, hit any one of these videos or video for more of my amazing content. But don't go anywhere because I got reactions and eventually gameplay again. I'm working on it. It's been a busy week for me, but peace out.